My friends, when we met last week, a lot of things happened. You ended up traveling to meet someone named Maria Brunel, who is better known by her artist name of Sister Fallacy. She is a former nun who, after having some weird sort of experience, gave up the habit, was defrocked, and became an artist who does work that melds a lot of religious imagery with sexual imagery. The prince, Prince Van Horn, was very, very interested in having Sister Fallacy as part of this exhibit you're trying to build for the prince, and wanted, in fact, to make her the centerpiece of the whole affair. You went to Sister Fallacy only to find out that she had been embraced, which kind of threw a little wrench in the thing as you spent some time trying to calm her down after she had murdered someone in front of your eyes, a person that you know to be the ghoul of a bruja in town in the Undercity. You hid the body, got rid of it, and then spent some time with Sister Fallacy trying to get her to calm down, trying to get to the bottom of what had happened. Thanks to Elise's blood sorcery, you managed to discover that her sire is in fact Soriana Indigo, the member of the ministry, who is also part of your coterie working on this exhibit as an art director. You reported this to the prince, who was not very happy with the entire situation. The prince did say to keep it quiet for now, that she would deal with Soriana on her own, and that you were to continue your work. She did inform you, Arkham, that she was calling Lilah Thorpe back from New York post haste, and that as soon as she landed, she wanted you to meet with Lilah to catch her up on everything that had been happening. You're getting the sense, Arkham, that Lilah's kind of being brought in and put there to not necessarily take over or rectify anything, but certainly to keep an eye on things and kind of make sure that things go a little smoother. It might ruffle your feathers a little bit to know that the princess called in someone to kind of, quote unquote, assist you. So you decide how you feel about that. Speaking of Lilah, since we've not yet had the pleasure to meet Lilah, let's go ahead and do that. Lilah, you were in New York on some publishing business. You run a publishing company called Desdemona that specializes in publishing books you call tearjerkers. They are very tragic, romantic, erotic novels. And you had gone to New York on some business or other when the prince had brought up this idea of the exhibit that she wanted you to work on. She had said that it was fine, that you could take care of your business, but you received a phone call very recently, a night ago. You received a phone call from the prince, who seemed very aggrieved at what was going on. She gave you a little bit of a summary of what had been happening and asked you to come back to Montreal right away, so that you could go and assist Arkham and make sure that things went more smoothly from now on, because this is a bit of a shit show right now with someone being embraced without permission by a member of this coterie that the prince had just put together and basically put her name on. It's a little bit embarrassing. So there's some shenanigans going on. And she would like you to come in and kind of take a hand in that and see if you can't keep things, since you are, a businesswoman with a lot of practice managing things, to kind of take care of the situation a little bit. You managed to find a flight pretty easily that brought you back to Montreal from New York overnight. As Lilah Thorpe walks through the airport, the Trudeau Airport in Montreal, I imagine she's got a little roller case that she's trailing behind her, but please, Maria, give us a description of what we would see and what Lilah is like as she walks through the airport on her way to meeting her assistant, who is waiting for her in the parking garage in the car.
Sure. Lilah is someone who, in a past life, was repeatedly described as mousy. and she took great offense. So she's done everything she could to overcome that, since her hair is bleached blonde and she's got a little bit of root showing. Her clothing is pastel, not bright, but really flattering, very feminine, but tailored and structured, halfway between soft and corporate. Um, she carries herself with like a confidence that she wouldn't have recognized in other people when she was alive, and now she looks for it and is very annoyed when other people don't carry themselves with the same amount of confidence. So she emerges from the airport bagless and unencumbered. She's more interested in everything else going on around her. So her eyes and ears are catching on like dozens of lives, dozens of stories. Um, Probably sees, 10, 20 people's worth of stories before she notices her assistant.
Well, in fact, even before all of that, as you are walking through the airport and walk past the departure gate, Montreal Airport is kind of weirdly built where you have to go back in front of the departure gates to get into the tunnel that exits into the parking garage. You notice something that catches your eye. This scene is directly out of one of your books that you would publish. There is a young couple, a young man, a young woman at the departure gate. The young man has a backpack and another little suitcase, and they're hugging fiercely, and she's crying. She's crying these deep, 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 sobby tears as she clings on to him, and he tries to go a few times, but she won't let him go, and you can tell from the distance the heartbreak that this young woman is suffering right now as this young man turns around and with himself a bit of a look of sadness in his eyes, turns and heads back and goes through the departure gates and disappears, and the girl almost practically falls to her knees. You watch her as she, crying unsteadily, wobbles back out towards the exit to the parking garage. As you watch her go, this incredible, tragic heartbreak really reaches you, speaks to you, and really excites you. It's exactly the kind of thing that you like. And after this rush to get out of New York and this rush to get on the plane and get back to Montreal, you find that you are feeling a little hungry. The beast is stirring a little bit in your stomach. You watch this woman go exactly the kind of victim that you prefer. What do you do?
Well, have I seen my assistant yet?
No,
Or am
yet.
I?
She's in the parking garage somewhere, waiting for you with the car and the driver.
Mm, uh, I think I will follow out this tormented lover and see which way she's headed. Is she also heading towards the parking garage?
She is. She is definitely heading for whatever vehicle brought her here.
Hmm. Convenient. Um, so I'm going to follow, but keep an eye out for my assistant. I would love to, at the very least, touch base with her real quick. But
You walk into the parking garage. It's cold as all get out. It's February in Montreal. You can see everyone walking around with like the extra coats, the extra layers on as they're rushing back to get into the airport. And you notice as you're still watching the girl kind of walking along the long row of cars, you notice the car parked nearby. The window rolls down and you see the face of your assistant, Alice, who waves at you.
fantastic. I'm going to beeline over real quick. And
She opens the door for you, like reaches out and opens and pushes the door out for you as you arrive. What would your assistant call you? Does she call you by your name? Does she call you ma'am? Does she call you miss? What is it that you require of her?
I think she would call me by my name, yeah. Nothing too out of the ordinary in public.
Flight was okay, Lilah.
Flight was fine. Thank you so much for making arrangements on such short notice.
No problems. No problems. That's what we're here for. As you sit into the car, your phone dings. You pick it up and take a look. You have a text message that you read quickly as you're getting into the car. It's from your contact, Ty Dunleavy, the newspaper reporter that covers the art scene in Montreal. The text is pretty short. It just says, "Big art guy in from France, doing some private exhibits of his collection, big ticket, worth looking into. Heard he's in town looking for a Henry Holiday painting, very rare. It's going to auction at Obscura later this week. You interested in it?" And that's all the text says.
Amazing. I think I will hand that phone over to Alice and ask her if she'll just follow up on this. I'm interested. I would love to go check it out, but I am feeling a little peckish.
Oh, excellent. Should we go somewhere or?
No, I think I saw a place. A person, maybe. I'll be back.
We'll wait for you right here.
Fantastic.
Watch as you go. You step back out into the garage. You see that the girl has walked further down the row of cars and is standing next to a little Honda Civic and is still crying and is having difficulty with her keys to trying to open the door as she's sobbing, and kind of still that pain just sort of rippling through her, and kind of you can almost feel it. It's palpable. You can almost taste it from where you're standing.
I think that's absolutely enough to draw Lilah like one of those cartoon wolves, just floating on the high. So she's gonna head over there and she's gonna call out and just be like, "Oh, you poor thing. Hey, you look so devastated. Is this you?"
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. And she grabs a little
I'm gonna
tissue.
offer her a
like,
Kleenex from my little travel pack.
"Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. That's so nice. No, I'm okay. I'm okay. I just
Oh. And she's gonna reach out and pat her shoulder.
I'm sorry. I'm such a mess right now. I apologize.
What's happening? What's gone wrong?
I'm okay, really. You don't have to bother with any of it. I'm all right. I just need to.
Well, why don't you open your car, sit down? You don't look safe to drive yet.
All right, and she finally manages to unlock the car and opens the door, and she sits in, and she sits like, "Are you moving to go around to the other side, or are you standing on her side?"
No, I think I'm gonna crouch down next to her, I'm just trying to make sure she's okay.
Yeah, so she sits with her knees still and her legs still out of the car kind of thing, and just kind of puts her hand in her hand. She's like, "I'm sorry, I'm not normally such a mess. My boyfriend just left, and I don't think he's gonna come back. He was just supposed to be leaving for a few months, but I don't think he's gonna come back."
Oh. And what could have caused that?
I don't know. He's just been so distant, We met in the Dominican Republic last year when I was there last winter, and he's from Ohio, and we met, and then we've been traveling back and forth, and I've been going to see him, and he's been coming to see me, and it's been the guys here are so stupid, and he was just he's a university, he's really smart, he's really funny, and when I met him in the Dominican, it was kind of like meeting Prince Charming, and it was kind of like in one of those romance books, you go off on an adventure somewhere and you meet someone incredible, then you come back and you keep seeing them and it's great, and I don't know, he came here for a couple of weeks, and we were supposed to see each other again a few weeks from now. And when I asked him if he'd booked a plane ticket, he said he had, and he would be thinking about it.
Oh.
It's like you're meeting the perfect guy, and he's just there like sand slipping through your fingers. You can't stop.
That's so terrible. I'm so sorry.
It's like my heart is just falling into pieces in my chest. I don't know how to stop it.
Well, sometimes it's important not to stop it. It's important to feel these things.
I just don't want to feel anything right now, to be honest. It's so painful. I never felt anything like I really think I was in love with him. I really think I am in love.
I think you still are, yeah. And I think Lilah is gonna start like leaning on her a little bit with Milpomene.
Okay.
Just to kind of like entrance her a little and make her a little more receptive or not fully suggestible, but just so that she feels what Lilah is saying, you know?
As you reach out with your power, you hear it sort of resonate silently between the two of you, and you feel the effects it has on her as her sobbing kind of stills a little bit, and her eyes, red rimmed and full of tears, still lock on to yours. She reaches down and takes your hand and says, You're so nice. I'm sorry. You're so nice.
Oh, don't be sorry. It's all right. Here, wipe your eyes.
Thank you.
And now, just let them close. Rest your eyes a moment. I know it stings when you've been crying like this, and you have to be able to drive home soon.
Yeah. And I need to stop at Tim Hortons or something. Get a coffee or something.
That sounds like such a good plan.
I don't even know what your name is.
Oh, that's not important. This isn't about me. This is about you.
You're so beautiful and so radiant. You're like an angel. Like you're an angel who heard my crying and my pain and my heart rending in tune. Came down to help me through it.
To help?
Yeah.
Well, I do love to help people. And I think with that, Lilah is going to sort of lean in like she's giving her a hug and pull her close.
Oh. She just totally leans into it and grabs you and holds you really tight. And
Lilah's just going to hold very tightly and take a bite.
And as your fangs sink into her neck, and her blood, which is currently coursing with all this grief and this pain and this heightened emotion that she's been feeling, as you drink of it, the resonance in her blood being so perfectly aligned with what your soul desires, it feels like you are drinking this woman's misery and pain and tragedy and heartbreak, and it tastes so sublime as it slinks down into your mouth and down your throat and fills your belly up. You can feel the beast become sated, stop growling, lie down, just as the girl herself is starting to kind of fall limp into your arms. And when you pull back from her, you see she has this tiniest of smile on her lips, and she's no longer crying.
Perfect.
I assume you don't kill her?
I do not.
Do you do anything else?
I am going to take her keys from her hand and set them on the dashboard in front of her, and then reach down and find her ID and just get her name.
You find it easily enough. Geneviève Côté. You write it down. Do you write the address?
Yeah, I'll make note of the address as well.
You write it down.
I pull out this little black address book that I have in my pocket and flip to the very back pages to write it in there.
What else is in there that we see?
Some interesting scribbling. There's clearly things that I've written. It's all in the same hand in the back. More names, a lot of things with like ideas and question marks, a few places around Montreal.
Other names like this one?
Certainly.
You finish it, you put the little pen back in it, you wrap it with a little rubber band, you put it away. You check in the rearview mirror to make sure that there's no blood anywhere. You find a little spot and you clean it off. The girl is leaning back in her seat, kind of half dozing, slowly kind of starting to come to. The car with your assistant in it pulls up.
I'm gonna go ahead and close the door to the car with the girl in it behind me, and then go to my car.
As you slip into the car, Alice goes, "Was it a good one?"
Mediocre. But enough for now.
I'm guessing it was something that happened in the airport, a breakup or something?
Airports are always just such a hive of misery. Yes, this was a maybe breakup.
Didn't have time to really macerate in it, though.
No, it also wasn't an especially long-lived relationship. Well, you take what you can get.
Yes, well, definitely find you better vintage now that you're back in town.
Thank you, Alice.
Of course. I have a few things of notes for you here. We've gotten this email from the writer you were interested in. It says he was responding to your email, but he sent it to the publishing house email instead of your own email. It says, yes, I'm looking for publication, and indeed Desdemona Publishing has been recommended to me by a friend in Europe. I'd love to meet and discuss. I'm in Montreal for a few months doing some research. Let's do lunch. I'm including an excerpt, and signed Martin Guerre, and along with it is an excerpt of this book that he's been writing that she transfers off to you.
Amazing.
And then she says, are we still meeting with Monsieur Olivier?
We are. Yes.
All right. The note from his assistant says that he wants to meet at La Fonderie. Apparently he's setting up some new art exhibit there, a local artist whose name escapes me. He died recently, a tragic affair, but
wow.
We should be able to get there in like 15, 20 minutes.
I never miss a tragic affair.
That would be the name of your autobiography. And as the car leaves the airport, heading onto the highway towards the city of Montreal, you take a look outside and you wonder exactly what all this business is that's been going on, exactly what Olivier's got up his sleeve. You ruminate a little bit on this lunch that you just had, and there's still a bit of that lingering sadness and heartbreak that still swirls in your mouth like the aftertaste of a very, very fine wine. And as you approach this city that you're growing perhaps to be fond of in the short amount of time that you've been here, definitely as someone who's into heartbreak, this city has plenty of it to offer, and it's a veritable feast every night. As you're driving into town, Elise, you are sitting in a car with Faraday, your assistant, in the front seat. You are on St. Catherine Street, parked across a small pagan occult shop called Mélange Magique. It's on the second floor above a comic book shop. It's a bit of a rundown area. This is the area near where the old Montreal Forum used to be, where the hockey games used to be, and this used to be a very lively place, but now it's mostly boarded up shops and restaurants and empty streets. It's a very, very sad and kind of decaying part of town. And as you sit across from the store, you think back to what Fletcher had told you about the name he'd found, a woman who was perhaps a blood descendant somehow of the mage, Trois-Echelles, whose work you've been investigating. He asked you to look in on her to see if there was anything there. You're currently sitting there waiting for the last few clients to walk out, and you watch her, middle-aged dark-haired woman with tattoos and several bits and bobs of paganism and witchcraft about her. You get the sense that this is probably not a very authentic occult shop. You catch Faraday's eyes in the mirror as you wait for her to close the store. And he says, "I've been meaning to tell you, mistress. The painting you asked me to track down might have a lead. There's a Henry Holiday being auctioned at Obscura this week. As far as I know, there are only 2 interested parties and no bids yet. There's some art dealer from out of town and somebody else here in the city. Someone called Thorpe, Lilah Thorpe. They're the only 2 people who have been interested so far. Do you want me to look further into it?"
I do. Lilah, that name sounds familiar. I've heard it before.
I believe she's friends with Monsieur Olivier.
Oh, that's right. Yes, please look into it for me. It's very important that I get it back.
May I ask you a question? Personal question.
Of course, Faraday, what's on your mind?
Does this painting have anything to do with him? The one you say I remind you of?
Are you feeling a bit jealous?
No, of course not, mistress. As far as I understand it, he's been dead for a very long time, and, well, I'm still here. I'm just curious why you don't ever really speak about him if he was so important to you.
Sometimes it hurts to think about him, you know. It was long ago, but he was a pupil of mine just like you. And he was special, like you. Someone I cared a great deal about.
I'm not sure how I am special or how I'm like him. You say that often, and I know you mean it. If it's painful for you to see him in my face, would you rather I not be around?
She leans forward and kind of drapes her head on his shoulder. A hand comes up and pets the back of his head. No, I couldn't bear you not looking at me, Faraday. It's almost like a present, a lovely pain.
Well, I'm glad if you find some sort of solace in it. I just dislike the idea of causing you pain, mistress.
I do apologize for calling you Austin sometimes. It just kind of slips out, you know, my brain just floats away.
Doesn't bother me.
He was very important to me, just as you're very important to me. I would wear that as a badge of honor.
I do. Does Master Fletcher know about him?
Yes, he does. He knows about all of you, of course. I can't keep anything secret from him. How can I?
And pardon me if this is too cheeky, but if he was still alive today, would he be here?
We all walk our own paths. He chose his.
I believe the Lady Marjolaine is shut down for the night. Do you wish to go up?
Yes. I got a little work to do.
Shall I
Might
come
as
with?
well get on it.
Shall I come with?
Please.
He shuts off the car, gets out, opens the door for you. Be careful, there's black ice everywhere.
She's smiling at him and leans in and places a kiss on his cheek. Perhaps you'll hold my arm then.
With pleasure, mistress, and he extends his arm for you to take. You cross the street, the cold wind doing nothing to make you feel any colder than you already feel. You climb up the stairs and at the door, and he knocks on the door, and she looks up from behind the counter where she's busy doing a cash register, and she points to the sign on the door that says closed, and he knocks again, very insistently. She stops and puts away the money that she was counting and comes over and opens the door with a very French accent. Says, I'm very sorry, we're closed for the night. You just missed us by like 10 minutes, and I have an appointment. I'm gonna have to go. Maybe come back tomorrow? And she sees you. And immediately, you see something in her eyes. There's some sense of recognition there. And you see fear. She starts to back away.
Relax.
She's backing away from you, and
She's gonna use compel on her.
you reach out your senses and envelop her. And she stops backing away, and her eyes lock onto you. Faraday closes the door behind you and locks it and dims the lights.
You're okay. I've not come to hurt you. But you seem to know who I am.
No, I don't know you. I've never seen you, but Nicholas sent you, didn't he?
Nicholas. Who's that? She's tiptoeing closer to her.
Go ahead and give me a intelligence and occult roll.
Ooh, can do.
See if your speciality would. Is your speciality?
Ooh, that's 7 successes.
Right away, Niklaus. She's mispronouncing it. Niklaus. He was a Tremere elder in the city up until recently. He answered the beckoning last year and left for the Middle East, and hasn't been seen or heard from since. This was before the Vienna Chantry was attacked, of course, and since then a lot of communications have gone haywire, but he's never set foot back in Montreal since then.
Niklaus. How do you know him?
We met about 2 years ago. He always said that knowing the truth about him would put me in danger. Is that why you're here, to kill me?
No, I haven't come to kill you. Don't worry, you pretty little head. I'm just curious. Did he go around you often? Were you his little pet?
She seems kind of uncertain, and you can tell she's hesitating talking. She says, he told me I should never talk about him or about our relationship. He said that it was very dangerous, that if others knew that I knew about what you are, that they would come for me.
I won't send the cavalry. I won't tell if you don't tell.
How many of you are there? You said there were only a few.
I don't think that's any of your business, pet. Bit nosy, are you?
I'm curious. Yes, the things he spoke about, the things he said were very intriguing. I don't know that I fully believed all of it, but I certainly did believe some of it.
Did you ever mention any names to you? Any strange names? Old names?
No, he came to see me because he was curious about one of my ancestors, but that's about it. He said that one of my ancestors was a sorcerer of some sort, and that's how the whole affair began. We did some research into it, and turns out that, in fact, apparently one of my ancestors was a sorcerer who came here from France a long time ago, and I guess maybe that's why that's in the blood, and that's why I'm interested in all this stuff. But he never said why he was interested in him. He just took an interest in me after that, and it was just strange, but I've always had a curiosity about things that are beyond the normal world, of course, and I never really had an opportunity to see or touch anything like it before, and it was scary but enthralling also. And he was so kind, and just he knew so much and had seen so much, and he treated me well. I never gave me reason to fear him.
Do you fear me now?
I do.
You shouldn't. I wouldn't hurt you no more than Nicholas.
And I think as this woman has been telling this story, I would like to use my ability Scry the Soul and look into her a little bit more deeply.
All right, start by giving me the rouse check.
Oof, no success there.
No success. You feel the beast stir a little bit more than you would want as you call upon it to see this woman's aura and the energies that flow around her, and you hear a little bit of a growl deep in your stomach. Go ahead and make me your intelligence and aspects roll.
That is 4 successes.
All right, I'm going to say you get to ask me 2 questions.
Okay. I think I would like to know whether she is a ghoul or not. And I would like to know the resonance of her blood.
Okay, you get the sense that she's on the tail end. I want to answer one of your questions obliquely, but she's on the tail end of a blood bond. There was a blood bond there, but it's fading away. It's almost gone. It's been too long, which would indicate that she's a ghoul. The resonance in her blood speaks of some latent magical power in it. You suspect that she may have a gift or two, but it's not developed at all. You do not think that in any way, shape, or form she's capable of any sort of sorcery or magic.
Elise is going to get close enough to her that she kind of brushes the back of her hand along her cheek.
She shivers a little bit, but stays there.
You want knowledge? I can see it in your eyes, hear it in your cry.
I do.
Perhaps I can help you with this. Give me a little bit of time, though, and I'll return to you.
I don't think I could stop you.
I don't tell anybody, not a single soul.
Am I still in danger?
No, I don't think so, not from me at least. But if you have any more visitors while you're locking up, you turn your eyes and you hide. Yes? I do hope there's no one looking for you, but we can't be too sure, can we?
Do you know that you're in danger?
Me? What would make you say something like that?
Just a sense I get sometimes when I meet people. I get a sense of what's going on with them on another plane, another level. I get the sense you're the center of something. There are a lot of forces that are converging toward you, and you're in danger.
Oh. It is quite unfortunate, is it?
Can't tell you more. It's just a sense.
She collects her wrist in her hand, bringing the woman's hand to her own face and pressing it there, listening to it.
You definitely feel her heartbeat is going faster and faster and stronger the longer the hand stays there. Your hand feels warm, nice on your skin.
Sometimes I see things too. Like dreams, but you're walking in the day. Foggy. And you reach out to touch, but then it disappears.
Don't know what that means.
I'll return to you.
She's gonna slowly drop her hand and start backing away.
You hear the bell of the door behind you as Faraday opens the door.
Be a good girl then, yes?
Yes.
She turns and leaves with Faraday.
And as you turn, you see something that catches your attention. However, somewhere else in the city. Father Dubois, you are coming out of the church having finished your evening's sermons and duties. You're heading out perhaps to get a bite or find some entertainment when one of your flock a young man who is a bit of a hustler that works around the area in the Saint Denis area is waiting for you, and he looks like expectant, like he's got something to say to you.
Well, hello. How are you this evening? You wish to speak?
Yes. My name's Simon, sir. We've spoken a few times. Very rousing sermon you gave tonight. It was. I don't know. It seemed clearer to me than some of your other sermons of late. It seemed. Well, it really spoke to me. This was what I wanted to say.
I'm glad that it moved you in such a way. I never knew that I would draw such inspiration from a band of musicians called Guns N' Roses, but here we are.
Is that what you meant when you referred to Paradise City?
No, I referred to that when I was saying we were all knocking on heaven's door. Oh. Anyway.
I'm sorry to disturb you. I won't take up too much of your time, but I have a message for you. Someone gave me a message to give you.
Oh? And what does Simon say?
That's good. That's good, Father. I never heard that one before.
I think he his head, his eyes just dilate for a moment, and then they go back to like.
This guy will never know how close he came to dying in this particular match. You rolled differently at the beginning of the game. He says a young girl, 16 or 17 maybe. Her name is Vicky. She said she wanted you to come see her, very specifically you.
Oh.
She said it's about your memories.
Where is she?
She said she wanted to meet you at La Ronde, le manège des sorcières. And La Ronde, is the kind of Six Flag-y theme park that is on Jean Drapeau Island in Montreal. It's of course closed in the winter, but
the amusement park.
She said she'd be by the carousel.
Of course, round and round we go. Did she say when, by chance?
She said she'd be there when you came.
Ooh, how mysterious.
Maybe she has faith in you that you'll come.
Ah, yes. I will most certainly arrive.
All right. I gotta get going, but yeah, great sermon again, Father, tonight, and I'm glad to know we're all knocking on heaven's door, and yeah, that made sense. All right. Thank you, Father.
Enjoy the jungle, my son.
What would you like to do?
Oh, he catches the next bus that will take him to that location.
So, in fact, what you do is you travel over a couple blocks over to where the Berry-UQAM metro station is. You find your way down into the exceedingly warm and humid interior of the Montreal metro station in the winter. You wait for the metro to come by. You take it all the way down to where the orange line and the yellow line connect, and you switch over, get the yellow line, and head off to Parc Jean Drapeau. You get out on the island. The island is a place where there's the Formula One racetrack there is the this theme park, there's a beach, there are a bunch of different places. It's kind of like a congregation place for people in the summer in Montreal, but right now in the winter it's very dead and very sort of solemn and melancholy. And as you make your way towards the theme park itself, you see stark against the night the various roller coasters and rides and all that are kind of just sitting there dead. This place kind of gets active in the summer, and it's actually a decent place to hunt, but right now it's really kind of just sad. Is there anything sadder than a theme park in winter? I don't know, but this place is definitely very sad. Yes, there are a bunch of interesting music festivals there in summer. But right now, all you hear is the creaking of the branches, the wind coming off the Saint Laurent, picking up and moving through the various buildings and rides of the park. But at the center of it, you do see the carousel, which is, strangely enough, illuminated. And it shines throughout the entire park.
I think that he would approach slowly. He would very much activate his heightened senses to ensure that he's not caught off guard from any direction.
You reach out with your senses. You don't really pick up too much until you see, moving through the horses on the merry-go-round, this young woman. She's dressed like she came out of an 80s movie a little bit. She's definitely young, on 16 or 17. She's got this very, her makeup, her clothes are these very 80s clubbing kind of vibe to it. The one thing you can tell for sure as she's walking towards you is that she's not a kindred nor a ghoul.
Tasty. He approaches like he does, just very much in his very upright, where it looks like as though he's almost hovering. He took a great deal of time and effort to learn how to give that effect as he moves.
As she spots you coming towards her, she goes, "God cometh, and me without a rag to clean it with."
That's cute.
You mind? I've been thinking about it for like 2 hours now.
Well, I mean, nice attempt, but you could work on your delivery a little bit more. You should have held that pause until I fully arrived before you make that joke.
You're a priest. I don't think you should be making dirty jokes like that.
Anyway, what is it you wish to see me about?
Do you want to ride? Not me, pervert. One of the horses.
Oh, no, but I will take this nice bench.
Very well. And she signals to someone or something, and slowly the merry-go-round starts to go around. You hear the music pick up, the horses go up and down. She chooses one, climbs aboard, and as you sit on the bench, you see her disappear around, and then she slowly comes back around the other side. And she goes, "I'm glad you came. I've been wanting to talk to you for a while." And slowly going around, comes back around on the other side. This is probably going to take a while. Do you have a few hours?
I think he steps onto it, but he doesn't get on a horse. He just stands there.
Ooh, is this too much fun for you? Are you going to be okay?
Who are you?
My name's Vicky.
Cute.
Thanks. It's short for Victoria.
Your full name's far more elegant, but that's neither here nor there. So what Lost Boys Reject fan club did you come from?
That's really good. I like that movie. The only thing I could never stand was all the fucking vampires in Santa Monica. What, is that Wilford Brimley, by the way? I always wonder, is that Wilford Brimley, the actor that's in that film that delivers that line?
Get to the point.
Jeez. You're like in a rush to get to heaven or something?
No, but you might be if you continue to try my patience. You don't send one of my people to find me with a message pertaining to memory and then play fuckstick games on a carousel, child.
Fuckstick? You got some mouth on you, priest. Jeez.
I think at that moment, using all of his blood he can, he juts his arm out to grab her up like an insolent child.
No problem whatsoever.
And he picks her up and he sets her down.
Oof.
Now,
Oof.
I ran an orphanage at one point in time. I know how to handle children such as yourself. What is the point? Or
An
do you need a
orphanage in a
few?
Charles Dickens book? Jeez.
Yeah, Charles was an interesting individual.
She looks at you very closely. You don't remember, do you?
Do I need to remember what?
She gestures around. This is where we first met. You don't remember?
I don't believe so.
It's a
No,
pity.
it must not have had a lasting impression.
What about Josephine? Do you remember her? That red hair,
No.
that warming smile. Tell me something about her. I like hearing about her from you.
What do you want?
It's not what I want. It's what the Rat King wants.
The who?
The Rat King?
A series of rats dead, tied in a knot?
No, it's got really nothing to do with rats. In fact, he's not even underground. I don't know why they call him the Rat King. Kind of a mystery. Kind of like God, you know. You just don't know.
Oh, I know. Anyway, explain to me about these memories and these so-called individuals you seem to think that I know, yourself included.
We met here a little while back,
did.
and I'm kind of hurt that you don't remember, but it's fine. I know you're having difficulties remembering things that you don't recall doing, losing other memories, things that were important to you at some point, except Josephine, of course. You remember Josephine.
Like he is keeping a stone face, but frantically searching his memory for anybody named Josephine, and he is coming up with a blank.
The Rat King worries about his city.
His city.
The city that he lives in, this one, New Montreal. I almost said New York there. It's Montreal.
And why is he concerned about his city?
Well, he used to give people dreams, you know, to guide them and show them the way, but some things happen. His dreams are weird now and messed up. They're more like nightmares, and he can't stop. And he's afraid that these dreams and memories that he's sending to people, the bad ones, are what are destroying this city. He's afraid that he's doing it, but he can't stop doing it, and he feels he needs your help.
Well, who am I to turn down a lost lamb in need of guidance and help?
I don't know if he's a lamb. Anyways, says he wants to see you soon.
What is soon?
When you're ready.
However cryptic.
He wants to know he can count on you first. Suffering, that's your true calling, isn't it? And she reaches
Yeah.
out and she taps your leg. Where the brace thing is.
Careful. And I think at that, like, he lets one fang slip down and then slip back up.
Kind of takes a step back a little bit. Okay, no need to get all predatory on me. He wants-
You seem to know a great deal about me, Vicky.
It's not me, it's the Rat King. He wants you to remove that. He wants you to experience true suffering. He wants you to go 7 nights without drinking blood. And then if you do that, he'll come to you. That will be your act of suffering, and he'll bring you mercy.
I think he stares her down for a moment. Does he have her eye contact? He's going to compel her. Are you muted?
I said, okay, is there a, yeah, I said, yeah, you got her icon stars. And I was asking if you need to make a roll and or Rouse check for that.
No rouse check, but a roll, yes. That is 6 successes.
And what do you want to do with it?
Who is the Rat King? Answer me truthfully. The compel is answer me truthfully.
He's the Rat King. That's who he is. I think he's like you. That means anything.
Where is the Rat King?
Do you do it with the compulsion again, or do you have to reroll?
Oh, yeah.
How does it work? Do you get
I
number?
can. Hang on. You get to decide for basically how long it lasts, essentially, right? But they have to obey a single action command no longer than a short sentence, and they must obey it to the letter.
Okay, so you've already given one command, so you'd have to do it again.
3 successes.
Okay. I sent you something also that you should check out in our chat.
Okay.
Remind me, what was that last question you said? Where is the Rat King?
Yeah.
Côte de Neige Mall. The abandoned mall on Côte de Neige.
Thank you. Services are on Wednesday evening, Sunday evening, and we generally have a special Friday night mass. And he steps off of the carousel.
As you do, she says, "Are you certain you don't remember Josephine, Father?"
I do. But you don't need to.
I guess not all your memory's gone then. Just some of it.
My memories are gone for strangers, especially in petulant children who decide to question me in, well, my own territory.
For what it's worth, I'm afraid of you.
I don't need you to be afraid of me. I need you to not bother me.
I do what the Rat King says.
And you follow this Rat King so blindly?
He's been very good to us. He takes care of us.
Does he? And how does he take care of you, and what does he take for giving this care?
He doesn't take anything. He just takes care of us. Isn't that what...
I think he looks her over, very studiously looks her over to see if she's maybe a wee bit peckish, if she's a pint low kind of thing, right? Is she a little paler than she should be?
No, she looks a little underfed, but nothing drastic. He says that he was put on this earth to do God's work, and that's what he does. He cares for people. He says he's been doing it for a very long time.
So do I.
He doesn't take anything in return, though. He just does it for the love of God.
Nobody does anything for free, not even God.
Well, he must have done something good, because he says they made him a saint. Turns around, hops on the horse. The horse keeps running around. When it comes back around, she's gone. And as you're standing there staring at it, the lights come down, the merry-go-round stops going, the horses become still, and you're standing in darkness.
Can I see the oratory from here?
You can.
I think he looks at that. Oh, that's the only saint in town. I think he would probably make his way back to the church.
Arkham. This time you hired good people. You hired good people and you got good work. And as you're standing there at the foundry looking at this beautiful exhibit that you're putting together, everything is perfect. Everything is exactly where it should be the way it should be. The art is hanging exactly like you wanted. People are working. Everything is great. And then the door opens, and standing there, you see Lilah.
I think, like, from across the hallway, when he sees the door opens and sees Lilah, he has one of these looks. He's like, oh, yes, that's perfect. Oh, yes. Okay. We need to make sure that we hire you all again. Lilah! Hi. You just made it into town. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Busy. Getting things together. It's a new exhibit that I'm very excited for. So, but you're here. Wonderful. Travel was well.
Travel was wonderful. This looks amazing.
Of course. Thank you. Hungry.
Sorted. Thank you, though.
No worries. I apologize. I would have preferred to get you at the airport myself, but like I said, been very busy. Very, very busy.
Oh, no problem at all. That's what assistants are for.
Wonderful. Here, walk with me a little bit. And then kind of like guides them down the hall to where just a little moment.
So Lilah, just to give you an idea of what you're seeing when you walk into this place, they're hanging up what appears to be a lot of street art. There's mostly paintings, things of that nature. A lot of them are kind of, done in the style of street arts. There's literally like some sections of brickwork that have been brought in that there's some paintings on. All of it is exquisite. All of it is absolutely freaking beautiful. There is a urgency, a truth, an edge to it, and a heartbreak, a feeling of pure melancholy and pain that sort of permeates all the work that you see here, and it sings to your soul. It speaks to you as you see it, and you're quite enthralled by all of it.
So where did you find all of this?
I kind of fell into it.
Oh, well, I love that for you.
Of course. There were local artists who was clouded by their own vision. They needed to be, released of that frustration. And they were able to translate it perfectly on this amazing set of canvas.
What is a truly beautiful garden that you are sculpting?
Garden. You know what? I've never thought about it that way. I kind of more so see it as like a harmonic symphony, right? Everyone has their parts. The artists, their painting, someone with an eye. And then, of course, the orchestral hall, museum. I don't know. That just feels like it flows a little bit better. I think I heard it from somewhere. Felt good. I might use it.
I think it's a perfect descriptor.
So, you've come into town to babysit.
Oh, I don't know about babysitting.
Feels like it.
I think I was just called in case I was needed.
Are you?
Needed? Well, difficult to say. I haven't heard yet fully what's gone on.
It all really depends on what it is that you need to know. I'm still very curious in why you were called at all. I mean, we were all tasked with something specific. We're handling it accordingly. The extra hands didn't seem needed. Granted, I am happy to see you.
Well,
Just
it's
not
so
that
good to
happy.
see you as well. Yeah. So I know only the briefest bit of this.
We ran into a bit of a snag. Somebody who was appointed into our coterie made a mistake, had a little bit of fun, and we fell upon that fun. Good thing is, another amazing artist. Apparently somebody sired someone without anyone's knowledge. I'm sure you've heard. Or have you?
That I have heard.
Good. In addition to that, we have a festival, it seems, to put on. A resurgence of the city. Something to bring the darkness into light for the city of Montreal.
Well, from what I heard, it sounded like you were about to be short someone who did some writing, and I was called in to do a little filling of that.
Couldn't you have done it in your safe haven, far away from mine? You just had to show up.
Well, you know I've been in and out for months now.
Oh,
I was
know.
planning to be in New York a little longer, but when a prince calls.
Yeah, I've missed a meal or two because the prince is called, but you know, duty is what duty does, especially with us, Toreador. As the conversation's happening and he's kind of walking you down this like procession hall, he goes to this big wide canvas. Still is the similar same street art. It has that, what he likes to refer to as this unctuous, deep resonance in it. But the difference between this one and the ones that we passed is that there is a very large, I'd say, blood streak viscera that goes across it. And he goes, this one, though, this one's my favorite out of the piece. Says a lot.
I can see why.
Every artist has their true stamp, and this one was missing it, but I was able to convince the artist to, I don't know, what would you say in your line of field, an edit?
Well,
Yeah.
Every symphony needs a conductor.
Yes, and every instrument needs tuning, and I'm trying to find your perfect pitch.
Well, I haven't yet to meet the rest of our musical squad.
Oh, you will. It's the father who goes to the beat of his own drum, but it's wildly and aggressive, whether he can see it or not, something that needs to be timbred. And then our sweet Elise, an eerie harp in the distant of the back. I'm still trying to figure out, Lilah, which part of the chorus you fit in. Simply a writer didn't need to come all the way to Montreal.
Well, true. And I would rather not be simply a writer. I mean, we are putting this on together.
Are we? I'm sorry. You know what? I haven't eaten this evening, and I'm a little bit...
Rude.
Well, is that beyond normal? I was saying a little bit distracted, is all.
Understand.
I am happy to see you, friend.
And I'm glad to see you as well. I look forward to working with you and the others.
Should be fun. Stay as long as you like. Enjoy the art. I'm going to attend to a few other things. And he begins to walk away and he goes, Lilah, though, one thing to keep in mind. I do like a well-tuned orchestra.
Fascinating. We'll find the right
Isn't
pitch
it
yet.
just- It really is good to see you.
Isn't it?
And back at the Mélange Magique, Elise, you turn around and you see next to the door there's a board with a bunch of papers and advertisements and stuff, people putting up like, you know, they're doing Reiki or they're doing tarot readings or there's this, that, the other, whatever, like a community events board. And one of the posters on the board grabs your attention as you see it's for something that's already happened, something that's already gone by. But as you look at it, you see a name that rings a bell among the people slated to perform at what appears to be some sort of strange occult gathering of some sort called Lustrations, is the name Berith, which you know is the name of the occult rock group that the Prince Van Horn, had asked you and the rest of the coterie to look into, to try and convince to join the exhibit. They have a new album coming out, and she has this idea of doing some sort of grand event based around it. And as you see it, as you see this name on this poster, you get a sense, a strange sort of, you know, in a film, whenever like something happens and there's just like this kind of like kind of sound, like everything else kind of fades away and there's just that little sound as the characters, you kind of get that moment where all of a sudden everything around you kind of fades and you just focus on that name, Barrett, the name of that group, the name of that band. You remember it's a brother and sister, two twins, who have this kind of dark occult rock group that's been getting traction in Montreal. You remember also when you looked into them after the prince talked about them, that they have an album coming out that the name of which didn't really mean much to you in the beginning, but after everything that's been happening, everything else you've lived and kind of discovered, you remember the prince talking about this album they had coming out. It's called The Sevenfold Doors to Hell, and it's the story of a protagonist called Seth Manick, a Bowie-like kind of artist who makes a Faustian pack and is taken on a psychedelic occult trip through Montreal's underworld. And there's something about that that resonates with those black lodges you're trying to find, the 7 of them. And it's kind of like your mind just makes this kind of weird connection, and you feel, and it's perhaps the words of Marjolaine, this idea that forces are converging towards you. But when you read that and you made that connection, you kind of feel like eyes have turned towards you and are seeing you. And it fades away really quickly. Are you okay, mistress? Miss Faraday?
I think she's reaching out to touch it, to stroke the face of the person on the flyer, just as Faraday speaks to her. Yes. I'm all right. I need to go home now. I think it's time I spoke to Fletcher.
Marjolaine says, do you know that person? Do you know?
I don't. Do you?
Yeah, I know all of them. They're all people that are in the occult world in Montreal. Lily Blanche does mostly performance art, things of that way. Carnival Bazaar's this theater troupe that puts on these very strange plays. They often do this play about the Yellow King, things of that nature. And Berith are kind of psychedelic occult rock band. People are talking a lot about them.
But you know them. The band, Berith. Do you ever come in here?
No, I don't think it's their kind of place. They're into slightly darker things that I'm really into, that I really want to have anything to do with. I do believe. Do you know Death House? I don't know.
Does she know this?
Do you know Death House?
Do I know this?
Go ahead and give me a let's do a intelligence and streetwise, which you don't have streetwise, so it's going to be a straight up intelligence.
Okay. Wow, it's 2 successes.
All right. Death House is an underground punk club, and the club itself is housed in this place called the Fatal Lofts, after the guy who owns them, Sam Fatal. And these lofts, it's this big building in the Saint-Remy neighborhood that are these really cheap lofts that he rents out, and they have become this kind of commune where a lot of punk kids and street kids and artists kind of all live there. It's like a very cheap place for them to live, and they all kind of have this community that they've built in there, and there's a lot of squatters and things like that there. And that's where a lot of like the underground people in the city sort of end up living.
Okay. Yeah, I would venture to say she's probably even like picked up a stray there before.
Probably. So yeah, you would know that. And when you say that, she goes, well, I think that's where they live, last I heard.
That's very kind of you. Perhaps I'll pay it a visit.
I don't know if it's kind of get the feeling that I'm just helping whatever it is that's coming after you get closer to you.
Perhaps whatever's coming for me should be more concerned for itself.
I think maybe that's so. You'll come back.
I'll come back, I promise. I don't often break promises.
Faraday opens the door for you again.
She steps out.
You step out, head towards your car. And as you do, I think this is a good spot for us to take a quick break. Arkham, you are reminded by your assistant that you have a meeting tonight. You have a meeting with Narcisse Menard, who is the French art collector, whose collection the prince is very eager to have for the exhibit. Your assistant reminds you that the meeting has been set for a place called the Glass Tower. Yeah, I know, it's coming. Coming slowly but surely. The Glass Tower in the old port of Montreal, on one of the docks. There is a tower that has been constructed that is made of glass, and it's kind of an observatory that looks out upon the old port and the river. And he has apparently rented it out for the night. And you and Lilah are currently on your way there, going to meet him in the hopes of convincing him to lend his collection to the exhibit. Lilah, you're also interested in him because you've heard that he, like you, is interested in this painting that you've been yourself interested in, this Henry Holiday painting that you yourself have been interested in. I know you have the notes on all that, so I'll let you fill in whenever you feel like it's totally up to your character to speak about it or not. I'm not going to talk about it now exactly what that is, and whenever you feel like revealing that, you can. As you approach the glass tower, which sits at the end of that quay in the old port, you can see up in the kind of main area up there You can see a couple of people moving. When your car pulls up at the bottom, there's a security guard down there who does like this and then starts talking in his earpiece. Meanwhile, the two of you are sitting there in the car waiting. Is there anything you want to do or address before you go up?
Would Lilah have told Arkham that she has separate interests?
I would say that maybe in an effort to justify why she should come along. Just, I've heard that he's interested in the same sort of things I am.
Really? And what's that?
Sad stories. Different mediums, but every now and then I dabble.
Full of surprises. I love it. It should be an interesting conversation. This is such a prized collection, so I'm sure it's not going to be easy, but should still be fun. Is Narcisse Menard kindred? Bleak?
No, he is human.
Does he know of us?
Nope. You are to maintain masquerade.
Got it. All else fails, kill him.
It's
only I'm actually very interested to see. I'm sorry, what?
I said it's only business.
Right. I mean, we go in there, we make an offer, they refuse, we kill them. Like, I don't know. I'm joking a little bit. And he gives you one of these looks like, okay. Perfect.
As you step out of the car to go upstairs, since we didn't do them earlier, please, each of you, give me a rouse check.
Oh, buddy. All right.
0 successes.
Oh, so your hunger goes up. You ate a little earlier, but still feeling a little peckish. You're probably at 2. It's
Twins. We're both hungry tonight.
Oh no.
Mine as well.
Your beasts growl in unison as you step out of the car and feel the biting wind coming off the river. As you are led into the building and brought to an elevator, there is a guard downstairs. He's just very kind of unobtrusive. He's just wearing like a winter jacket and pants and boots, and he doesn't look like, he's not like in a black suit with an Uzi or anything like that. He just looks like a guy. He brings you over to the elevator, brings it open, motions when it comes in. You get in, it starts going up. As it goes up, you get a really good view of the city. And as you do, you are reminded that there's still some beauty left in the old gal. The skyline is particularly attractive, and Montreal is a city of lights, and even now in this kind of decaying state that it's found itself in, and it not being in its best days, it still manages to shine brightly at night and still offers a beautiful view. As the elevator dings open and opens up into that big square kind of main observatory area, you are greeted by another guard who, as you come up, has a wand and motions you to lift your arms up so that he can wand you to see if you have any weapons or anything of the sort on. What do you do?
I look at Lilah and then I look at the security guard and I go, no.
He looks over and Narcisse just waves over his head. You see, as you look over, Narcisse is a very young person, wearing just a black t-shirt, jeans with the cuffs rolled, some Chuck Taylors. They have a rubber ball that they're throwing and bouncing off one of the glass windows, and then when it comes back, they grab it, and they keep kind of doing that. Also, at the center of the room, on an easel, is what appears to be a painting that is currently covered with a cloth. Over it's like, it's fine, let them in, says with his French accent, and keeps throwing the ball as it boom, like, hits against one of the windows and hits on the ground, and they catch it again. Come in, come in. Can I offer you something to drink?
Before we approach, or before we get within earshot, like, I think Arkham notices this guy's demeanor, and he looks at Lilah and goes, I'm going to defer to you, because I can already tell it's not going to be easy for me.
Delightful. So I think Lilah will head forward first, and as she passes the man with the wand, she like gently touches it and lowers it, and just is like, "So nice to meet you."
He just sort of takes a good gander at you and lets you go by. He looks at Narcisse looks at their security guard. Is this my 12 o'clock? And he's like, yeah. Welcome, my friends. Please, come in. Keeps throwing the ball. Dong, dong, punk. Dong, dong, punk.
Well, I appreciate your vote of confidence without even knowing who we are.
Oh, what's the worst that can happen? You kill me? These things happen. It would be beautiful in here. If you're gonna die somewhere, I might as well be in here.
Arkham's eyes twitch. He's just like,
look at this view. Isn't it beautiful? Almost as beautiful as the two of you. You are quite the pair. Are you together?
No. Business partners.
You should be. You're very striking, and beautiful, striking people like you with money should always be together.
Well, we're together at the moment, but we're together with you.
That is very interesting. Please, come in. May I offer you something to drink? We have champagne, we have wine that I brought directly from France with me. It's very good Chateau Lafite 83.
I think I'm all right. We can drink after. Perhaps in celebration.
Oh, perhaps. Please. And they catch their ball and they put it in their back pocket, and they come over and they start serving themselves a glass of champagne. Remind me your names, please. I'm meeting a lot of people these days, and it's becoming difficult to remember all the names. If you would be so kind.
This is Arkham Olivier, and I'm Lilah Thorpe.
Arkham. And he comes over and he offers his hand. Pleasure to meet you, sir.
Wonderful to meet you as well. It's a wonderful home you have.
This is not my home. It is just a place that I rented to meet people that are interested in talking to me. My name is Narcisse. Pleasure to meet you. And then he comes over to you, Lilah, and they take your hand and just sort of mimic kind of giving you a kiss, but they don't touch your hand at all or anything like that. And you are?
Myself?
Yes.
Lilah Thorpe.
Lilah. That's a beautiful name also. Please. I am told. What am I told? They look at their bodyguard. The bodyguards. Sir, they're here to talk about your collection. They would like to get you to exhibit it somewhere for them. Yes, the exhibit this summer for the city. Something about the end of the world or something like that.
Yes. I know with your generation of artists, you can see that there is a resurgence of Renaissance in Montreal that is coming, and we would love it if your collection spearheads that. I think it would be amazing, not just for you, but for the city. It's a classic representation of what Montreal was, but can be.
Okay, now the non-bullshit answer.
Your collection is very expensive. We like it very much, and it would be a big benefit if we could show it off to everybody at this event.
That's much better. Miss Lilah, do you have anything to add to this?
Well, if the world's ending, like you said, what's the worst thing that could happen? You die here where it's beautiful? if the world's ending, we just want to die somewhere where it's beautiful. So we're trying to put a lot of beautiful things together in one spot.
Well, I certainly understand the sentiment. I am not very worried about my own death, but I would be very, very distraught. Distraught, is that the word? Is that when you're, comment dire, quand on dit qu'on est, on n'a pas les moyens de continuer? I think that's the word, distraught, right? Distraught if my collection were to be destroyed.
Oh,
that would hurt my feelings very much, and it would be a great loss for the world. I die. It's not a great loss for the world. There are plenty of art collectors, but my collection is quite unique.
There's not many art collectors that have your eye, though. It's a bit more than one person just to collect a thing. It's another one that has a keen notion of what needs to be collected. And that is a very small pool
and the
of
money
people.
to buy all these things.
Money's ancillary when you're at this level.
I admit that more often than not, the most difficult thing is convincing people to let me have what I want to have, and sometimes money doesn't make much of a difference. You can be bringing all the money in the world to someone, and if they hold something with a deep sentimental value, there's no money in the world that can pry it out of, how does your man say, out of their cold dead hands.
Now, what could you have found that you couldn't get your hands on?
There have been a few things over the years. I would say that there are probably 7 or 8 pieces that have either slipped through my fingers or that I have simply not been able to find so far. What about you? What has slipped through your fingers, Lilah? What is it that wakes you up at night and makes your heart feel like it is missing a part of itself? There is a little hole there that just keeps being a little hole no matter what else you bring into your life and you try to feed it. What is missing in your life? What did you lose, Lilah?
Oh, someone very dear, someone very close.
A lover?
But, and then some.
Was it a man, a woman, both, neither?
A man. But, you know, we do what we can to find things that honor that feeling, remind us of it.
What was his name, this man? Tell me, I like
James.
to know. James. That's a very boring name for someone so important.
Well, it's a good, strong, old name, I would say.
And what did James have that other men don't, that you miss so much?
Like you, a good eye. The ability to appreciate the value in something or someone.
I was gonna say, well, if he chose you, he certainly had a good eye, but then I get it that he also abandoned you, so what caused that to happen, Lilah?
Devaluation, I suppose.
Does he like younger women? Is that the issue?
No, he just doesn't like things that he already has.
I can understand that. I'm not one of those people that buys multiple copies of something. I find that uniqueness is sometimes what gives something value.
Can I ask, you collect these things?
I do.
What do you get from this? Do you just want to walk down a long hallway knowing that you own all of them? Or wouldn't you rather enjoy watching other people know that you have them?
I'm very happy to let people view the collection. On one hand, it is an investment. I had a lot of money and I did not know what to do with it, and I always had a passion for unique, strange things. But I think perhaps it was something else that started me down the path. I had somewhat of an obsession, too, a bit like you have with James, an obsession, something I wanted that I couldn't have, that I kept trying to find, that was just always a little bit just out of my grasp.
And have you found it yet?
Perhaps, maybe. I came here looking for it, and there is something that I wish to have. That may be it, but I don't know if that will be it.
How very cryptic.
Well, All good artists must have a little bit of mystery in their work, and I do consider myself an artist at what I do. I do not paint or draw or dance or sing, but I find that my approach to the work that I collect is got a little bit more flair than most.
This tracks to what I know of you.
Things you know of me. Have you been researching me?
Only just to see what you're interested in.
And here I am, with cut with how do you say, with my pants down. I've not at all know anything about you. I've not researched you. I don't know anything. I feel very naked.
Well, there are worse things to feel.
That is true. What about you, Monsieur Olivier? What is it that you are searching for? What is it that you are missing? What is that hole in your heart? What is that one piece that would make your life complete?
I'm not missing anything. And if I was ever missing something, I go and I find it.
You're not missing anything. There's nothing you want. Your heart does not hunger for something.
No. Or at least not something that you can give or understand.
No, I'm not trying to give you anything. I'm here to take from you. In fact, you're the one who wants my collection. I find it hard to believe that a man like you, so immersed into the world of art, was accomplished so much and yet so little in some ways, would not have an unnursed desire. It was William Blake, I believe, who said, did you know William Blake was very interested in the French Revolution? He thought it was the most wonderful thing ever. We fucked that one up big time, but William Blake said, rather kill an infant in its cradle than nurse an untended desire. I believe that is very true.
Well, unfortunately for Mr. Blake, I am not a man who leaves desires untended. And I'll be very frank. Cash rules everything around me. Wu-Tang Clan. We're here for business.
Cash, is it? That is very boring.
That's what we're looking for. So, are you willing to showcase your collection?
I am.
And what would it take?
Nothing that you can give, Monsieur Arkham, if all you have to offer is money. You, Miss Lilah. Perhaps your art is a little bit more poetic than Monsieur Arkham's. Perhaps you have ideas of things that might interest me more than money.
I do wonder what it is that you're looking for.
You know what I'm looking for. You're looking for it too.
Well, perhaps we could join in that search. Trade some knowledge.
I'm not usually one who likes to share too much. I find that sharing dilutes. Is that the word? When you put too much water in the wine, it dilutes it?
That is the word. That's fair. But, as you know, it's something I'm looking for, which means it's something I don't have. Is there something I do have you might be looking for?
He comes over, takes a look at you, and says, there's something interesting about you, Miss Lilah. I can clearly see the pain that is in your eyes. You certainly hold a lot of pain in your heart for this James fellow. But I see something else there. There's a kind of hunger that is sitting right next to this pain. It is a hunger that attempts to quell the pain by eating and feeding, And yet, the pain always remains. It never goes away no matter how much you consume. I find that extremely fascinating. I would like to know the origins of that pain. However, I will not trade my collection for that story. I will want you to tell me that story of your own volition at a later date. What I do want, as you know, is this. Are you aware, Monsieur Arkham, of the painting of Dante and Beatrice done by Henry Olivier in 1882?
I am.
There is a rumor that before he painted the famous painting where Dante and Beatrice narrowly missed seeing each other again, never knowing that they were so close to one another. The tragedy of it. Before he did that, he painted another one where they see each other, where he attempted to correct the mystery, the mistake of the past. But he scrapped it. And he did the one that is well known now. This second painting, this missing painting, has a bit of a reputation. It is said that it solves affairs of the heart for any who possess it, but at a cost. What do you make of that, Monsieur Arkham?
I find that intriguing. It's interesting. It's something that can hold such a power. And this is what you are looking for.
No, that is what Miss Lilah is looking for. Miss Lilah's pain is in her heart. She wishes, I assume, to be rid of the pain. What I want is not that painting. This painting supposedly was done to cover another painting that Henry Olivier wanted to hide, but did not have the necessary willpower to destroy. May I show you something?
Please.
And he looks at you, Lilah, and he says, I'm very sorry if what I'm telling you now ruins your appetite for this painting.
I doubt much could, but go on.
This painting will not solve the affairs of the heart that are troubling you. He goes over to the painting that's on the easel, and he reaches up, and he pulls the cover from it. And meanwhile, across the city...
No. Go back.
How dare you? How very dare you?
Elise, you have returned home. You have found a couple of your followers in your den as usual, hanging out, making art, having fun, relaxing, chilling. Nothing too untoward's happening. What do you do when you get home?
I think she's going to go to Fletcher's study, where he usually resides, and seek him out there.
You find him there. He is, as always, absorbed in some research or other. He's got a bunch of books out, and he's drawing something. He's sketching out something, and he sees you like, I was wondering why suddenly my soul felt like it was whole again. And he gets up and he comes towards you. He takes your hand and he kisses it. Did you have a good evening, my love?
I had an interesting evening.
Oh, interesting is usually better than good.
I spoke to the girl. Found her in a shop.
Oh, the descendant of Trois-Echelles.
Yes.
And is she of interest to us?
Oh, yes, she's quite interested. Do you remember Nicholas?
We haven't heard from him in a while.
Yeah. He made a ghoul of her. Seems as though he was interested in the same things we are. following a similar path. She said he spoke to her about her blood.
Did you feel anything about her? Do you think there's something there? Nicholas was also very much a bit of a hound, and he might just have been interested in her if she was attractive. But did you sense anything about her?
There's something there. I could feel it on her. Smell it in her blood. Magic. Old magic. Barely there, just a whisper. It was there. She says she sees things, visions, things she doesn't understand, things like warnings. She says she sees a darkness around me too.
Darkness? She give you any details?
No. Like eyes on me. You know how the visions come and go, and they're all a bit fuzzy in the end, aren't they?
Do you feel anything? Have you become aware of any sort of such attention or any sort of wrong energies flying about you?
I had a moment where I was in a shop looking at a flyer. I'm supposed to go speak to this band. It's a bit of homework given to me by the prince.
Oh, for that. Is that still going on? Oh, I thought you would have gotten bored of that by now.
Oh.
What are we gonna do with your house guest? Has the prince said anything?
No, I don't think she has. How is she? Did she miss me while I was gone?
I believe so. She's definitely adapting. She started painting again. She asked me to get her a bunch of things. I sent one of the servants out, and they brought back a full shopping list that she wanted from Hashem, and she's been doing work, and she's set up in the garage, and she's just been at it all night. Something off about her. I can't quite put my finger on it. But if she's the child of the ministry, if she's the child of Soriana Indigo, Indigo's going to want her at some point, or the prince is going to have her killed. I don't know that we want to be saddled with her. Well, you never know. I don't know that we want to be saddled with her, but you know, if you're interested in her, no real harm in keeping her around. Can we? I'm disturbed a little bit by these notions of some darkness or forces gathering around you. Can we? We're gonna need to look into that. I don't have time right now, but I would say maybe tomorrow, first thing, once we wake, we should take a look into that. I want to see if there's anything. Actually, can you do me a favor? Can you turn around? And when you turn around, you'll unzip your dress a little bit and look at your back and go, I think anything's changed. Should be kind of worrisome as he prods the various tattoos and designs that he's drawn into you. And zips you back up, kisses the back of your neck, turns you back around. I'm a little worried, dear. I'm a little worried.
I could try to glean something myself, but I'm a little bit hungry. I don't think it would be the time now, especially when I have more work to do.
Well, maybe best tend to that then. Go and take care of this, and whenever that's done, come back, and tomorrow first thing we'll take a look into this. I'll check in with our Primogen, see if she can talk to the prince and see what's to be done with, what are we calling her? Are we calling her Sister or Fallacy or Maria? What are we calling her?
Or don't we ask her what she wants to be called?
Well, she's your pet. I'll let you do that.
Yeah. I'll ask her. I'll get back to you on that. But you know, when I did see that flyer, I did have a strange moment while I was in that shop. It's like all the sound left. It's like there was a great nothing for a moment. But in that nothing, there were eyes on me. So many eyes.
All eyes are always on you, dear, but these are a little more worrisome than regular eyes we have to deal with. I'm not liking
I brought
this.
the girl here.
Not just yet. I'm going to go look through Niklaus's things, see if there's anything about her there. He left a whole bunch of stuff in the old office. Down at the Chantry, I might talk to the Primogen also, see if she remembers him saying anything about her. If maybe he had permission. Let me look into that. We'll figure out what to do with the girl later. She might also just be a quack and she just said that to spook you, but I'd rather make sure.
I don't know, there's something special about her. You know when I get these feelings, I'm often not wrong.
Well, if her blood's Trois-Echelles blood, we're getting close to something. I can feel it. There's something, it's just there on the edge.
She's very curious. Very curious little kitty cat.
Well, let's keep her close then. I still don't know what's going on with the rest of the clan, and it's looking like we might be on our own for a while, so might not be a bad idea to have a few prospects on tap. You're picking up strays left, right, and center. We're gonna need a bigger mansion.
Oh. Well, perhaps we could buy some of the surrounding properties. I could have little cottages for them. Hideaways, like guest houses, but bigger. I think they'd like that.
So domesticated. All right.
You know better than that.
Oh, I know better than that. But don't distract me right now. Go take care of business. Do what you need to do. Tomorrow we'll take care of figuring out if there's really something around you. I get the sense that things are connected. Be on the lookout. If you're going out to meet this, what is it? What? Are you a ska band? What is it that you're going to meet?
Some strange band.
Keep an eye out. See if there's anything. Find it interesting that the first person you went out to recruit in this was turned. There might be something going on. Be careful, will you?
I'm going to leave Faraday here just in case.
Are you certain?
I wouldn't want anything to happen to him. I could take care of myself.
Of course you can, darling. Alright, I'm sure I can put him to work somewhere. Maybe I'll get him reorganizing the garage so that Sister is more at her ease in there painting. She's quite good. I mean, not my style, but still not bad.
She's very talented. If she just, knock off all the Jesus crap, then maybe it'd be a bit better, but we can work on that.
Well, don't knock it out of her just yet, because I think that's what the prince wants. But wait until after that, whatever fucking art exhibit thing is going on. That's such a fucking waste of time. Anyways. Alright, let's just
I really like her work in blood much better. I wish you were there to see it with me. It was quite
that apartment
a
still...
sight.
Did anyone go there? Did anyone clean that place up? Is that still...
How am I supposed to know? I did my job. I took the girl.
Sure enough. You remember where the apartment was?
I'm sure I can make my way back there.
Okay, maybe it'll be worth checking out at some point. Anyways, all right, enough dallying. Go take care of business. And we will make sure you're safe when you return.
I will.
And I think she kind of clasps her hands behind her back and rocks forward up onto her tiptoes, like offering her cheek a kiss then before I go.
He reaches out with his hand and just takes your chin between his thumb and forefinger and moves your head a little bit and kisses your forehead.
Good be seeing you.
And she just kind of slinks out of the room.
Like a cat.
Yes. She had a tail, she'd knock something over on the way out.
On the way out. Damn cats. Anything you want to do before you take off?
I think she will go in and check on Sister Fallacy.
When
Kind
you
of pop her head in.
Pop your head into the garage, you see that she's been hard at work, but there's something kind of off. She's got a whole bunch of paintings started. She's got paint everywhere. She's covered in it. But she's sitting on the ground and kind of looking at like these 4 or 5 paintings around her that are started, and they all got a little something going on, but there's nothing that really seems to be clicking. She's kind of just sitting there looking at them, like really looking at them with like this kind of critical eye. She's not like, oh, woe is me. She's really kind of like trying to understand what's going on.
Elise kind of leans there in the doorway, looking at the images, and then down to the girl.
Something the matter, little bird?
Elise. You scared me.
Lost in your heart, in your thoughts.
I don't know, there's just... I feel like I'm not seeing things. Usually when I paint, I see the painting in my head almost completely formed. Before I start, it's when I know it's time to start working on something. I don't really explore through the painting. I see something in my head eventually, and I work on it, and then when it's ready, I paint it, and usually it comes out fairly close to what I'm doing, but I can't see right now. Like, I have ideas, but they don't coalesce, they don't come together, and it's just like fragments, and it's kind of like I can't see the whole picture. It's just frustrating more than anything, but is it because of what I am now, do you think?
Elise is gonna cross the room to her and kneel down behind her, her hands slipping up over her shoulders, her lips going to her ear.
What would make you think a thing like that? Have you ever thought that perhaps maybe you have an edge now? Maybe you just see things a bit differently.
She reaches out, takes one of your hands and one of hers, and just kind of rests her head on it like this. She goes, I don't think it's a problem of... It's not kind of like... It's not a problem of perspective. It's that I kind of feel like the things that used to matter to me don't as much anymore in some ways. But that's not true either, because I know the questions I used to have, I still have. It's kind of like... You know, like when you watch a movie and there's a monster and you don't see the monster and you're imagining all sorts of frightful things, and then you see him, and no matter how frightful he is most of the time, it's kind of a disappointment. Like it was
you're
much...
disappointed.
I'm saying that I'll see something, and then when I try to translate it into my painting, it comes out disappointing. It's like while it's in my head, it's better than once I bring it out into the real world. You know what I'm saying?
I think you're forcing it, dear. Do you ever think to just stop with all these silly thoughts? Just paint with your heart what's inside of you. Let go.
I keep seeing that man in the bathtub and all the blood that I poured out of him and all the blood that I tried to ingest and that I vomited back and all the blood that was on the floor and on the carpet and on the walls, and it's like nothing I'm painting is ever going to be as beautiful as that. It's like I've peaked. Like that was my magnum opus. The greatest, most horrific, most beautiful thing I'll ever do, and it's done now.
I think maybe you've just found a new medium.
It looks at you. I'm gonna need some paint.
I can have Faraday arrange some things for you. So you're going to have to be really careful. And no killing in the house. I don't like it.
Okay.
Also, Fletcher wants to know what you'd like to be called. He feels uncomfortable. I need to tell him something. Who do you wish to be, my darling?
I don't know yet. Tell him just to call me Maria for now. When I know, I'll tell him.
Very well then. She's going to place a kiss to the side of her face before standing. I'm leaving Fletcher here tonight, so I'll send him in.
Why are you taking care of me like this?
That's what I do. It's my weakness.
Am I a new project then?
If you want to be. Nobody's ever here against their will. I promise you that, Maria.
Yeah, because I did that once and that led me here, so.
There's no bars on this cage, little bird. You can fly away whenever you want.
I'm feeling inspired. I think I'll stay for a while.
Good.
She starts wrapping away the paints and the brushes.
I think Elise turns. I would assume Faraday is likely standing just outside
Just
the door
lurking,
waiting.
always.
Yeah, always lurking. I love it. And she would inform him to find some paint for her and what kind of paint she seeks. And I think Faraday at this point kind of knows Elise's rules with things.
I'll keep an eye on things.
Thank you, darling. I'll be out a bit late tonight, but I'll be home before the sunrise. If I'm not, send the cavalry.
Call if you need anything.
She offers him a kiss and leaves.
Father, where are you at? What's going on with you?
I'm going to go see Elise. I have a favor to ask.
You take the metro back get off at Barry UCAM, go upstairs to the bus station, buy a ticket, wait in line. Eventually the bus comes. You climb on the bus. You take the 25 that goes all the way along Sherbrooke Street, all the way into Westmount. Once you reach into Westmount, you switch over to the 15, which goes up the Carey, and you take the Carey all the way up to Victoria Street. And when you reach Victoria Street, you decide that the rest of the way you can walk. It's a nice night. There's a little bit of snow falling, not a lot of people out. And when you get off the bus and start climbing Victoria, you look up and you can see the oratory in all its resplendent glory. You climb up into the area of Westmount that is where all the big Gothic mansions and all the Victorian places are, the estates. You climb up the winding roads. They get increasingly tighter and windier and little cul-de-sacs and whatnot. And eventually you arrive at the area that you know is the House of Fletcher, the regent of the Tremere clan. You assume that is where Elise also lives, since the two of them appear to be two parts of the same person.
Well, I guess they're called cliches for a reason. Thus he walks up to this giant Gothic manor.
You walk up to it, you see perched on the edges of the building a few stone gargoyles. They seem to be leering at you. At the front gate, there are a couple of guards, ghouls by the scent of them. As you approach, one of them speaks into an earpiece, the other one steps forward. Evening, Father. Help you with something?
Yes, my son. I wish to speak to Elise and a recent charge she brought home with her.
Let me see if I can get them on the phone. And he goes back inside and they talk for a little bit. As you're getting ready, Elise, Faraday comes over to you and says, Mistress, there's apparently a priest at the door for you.
Oh, how interesting. Guess I should go pay my respects.
Shall I have him sent up, or?
Well, actually, I was just about to leave, so let's just meet him outside.
Well, Father, you watch as a little side door to the building opens, and out comes sauntering Elise, heading towards the wrought iron gate behind which you stand with the guards.
Hello, Father.
Good evening, Elise.
Have you come to shake your basket looking for a bit of coin?
No, not this evening. Thank you, though. I was curious as to the status of Maria. How is she? How is she adapting?
She's doing quite well. She's making art right now. She's very happy.
Oh, well, that's very good to see that she is maintaining her focus and her usefulness.
Why are you so concerned about her?
Well, for two reasons. One, the potential problem she presents to us. And two, I do believe that she is a messenger from God, and that through her we will see his works and his divine will.
Well, I'd let you in, but I'm afraid that stepping a foot inside my house, God might strike you down here and there.
I'm not quite as concerned with that this evening. I'm pretty sure he'd look the other way on just this particular occasion, as I've come to ask you for a favor.
Favor?
Yes.
I think at this point she's up against the wrought iron gates, holding on to them.
her face kind of pressed and looking at you. What kind of favor does father want with me?
Well, I seem to recall you saying something. You have some sort of ability to see things, yes?
Yeah, I'm looking at you right now.
With more than just your eyeballs, my dear.
Oh, the visions.
Yes.
Don't you have visions? Saints,
I do.
martyrs, things in your little strange fuzzy brain.
I do. Unfortunately, though, they aren't very specific in finding people.
Oh, so they're useless. Good to
No.
know.
They tell me things that have been, will be, but not so much in the, where is this person? What
Oh,
are you
come on,
doing?
Father. I haven't got all night, have I?
I mean, perhaps not. You looked as though you were evening. May I escort you?
You want to go with me?
Why not? The night is young. I'm feeling particularly even-keeled this evening. It might be interesting to see how one such as yourself enjoys the nightlife.
I guess you can tag along. You might like the place.
Oh? What is it that you're going to?
It's a bit of punk house place where, the miscreants, misfits go and live, make their music and the art.
Oh.
I'm sure there's plenty of wayward lambs there for you to try and convince with your strange bibble babble.
My bibble babble is no different than your own, Elise. You must admit that.
Not quite sure what you're talking about. And she kind of signals the guards to open the gate.
Which they do.
Well then, you ready? I'm afraid we'll have to walk. I don't really drive cars.
That's okay. We can take the bus. I have a guest pass.
A bus?
Yes. Public transportation is one of the safest and most reliable ways to get around the city.
I've never been on the bus before. It could be a bit of an adventure, I guess.
Well, the wheels go round and round, and they'll take us anywhere we want to go.
Perhaps I'd like it more if you didn't talk so much, Father.
But I have so many questions.
And
on
then take me to this bus.
And on this incredible image of Elise and the father riding the bus together. Down to Saint Remy, back in the glass tower. Narcisse moves over to the painting, puts their hand on the cloth covering it. Says, I got this from some art collector in Chicago who lost almost everything he had amassed in a fire in 1928. This and a few others were all that were saved. And he removes the cover, and what you see is a beautiful painting of what appears to be a severed Christ-like head, crowned by a halo of brilliant gold which floats above a naked woman. She seems to be in free fall, suspended above a great chasm of darkness. Her head thrown back in ecstasy as the blood of the Christ drips into her yearning mouth. The face of the woman, however, has been damaged as if with a sharp object, almost in anger, as if someone detested the beauty that was there. Both of you, give me willpower rolls.
Just flat willpower?
Yeah. And for the record, Maria, I think you didn't spend your experience on your character sheet.
Did I not?
Unless I have an old version of it, but it still says all the experience. Something you can do
Noted.
for next game.
Sorry, I'm still learning that.
Yeah, no problem. So all you're going to do is you're going to go and find your willpower, which is 3. You're going to click on the 3, or I don't know if it's 3, sorry, I'm not looking at your character sheet. Okay. Willpower is 5, so you're going to click on the 5, and it's going to roll 5 die.
Got it.
2 successes.
Remind me when you have remember when you have hunger dice and they come up 10s or 1s. It's important to let me know.
All right. Well, I've got 1 success, but a 1 on the hunger die.
Well, you have 1 success, so you're fine. It doesn't. You're not gonna. And you had how many successes, Ian?
2. No one's on the hunger die.
As you watch, or see rather, look upon this painting, there is hey, thank you so much, Enchanting Sorcery, for the raid. Also, earlier, we got a raid from Wanderer's Haven. I wanted to mention it, and we got carried away, and I forgot. So thank you, Jeremy, and Wanderer's Haven for raid, and thank you, Enchanting Sorcery, for the raid. We really appreciate it. We're playing Vampire the Masquerade. Thank you for coming in. This is a game with mature content in it, so please take that into consideration as you decide to hang out with us or not. We hope you will, but thank you very much for coming in. We truly appreciate you. You see this painting, and right away you're ensnared by it. Your willpower roll was to see if your bane was going to affect you in this particular situation. Sorry, your compulsion was going to affect you in this particular situation. You're both okay, but it is hard for you to look or think of anything but this painting. There is something about it that is so enrapturing, something about it that draws you in, and it's not so much that it's beautiful, but there's something else about it. There's an energy, a power, something into it that just grabs you and holds your attention like almost nothing else ever has. You find yourself dying to see the face of this woman. You wish you could. You feel like this is one of the greatest crimes ever that you have been denied. It's literally as if someone were to talk to you about the Mona Lisa, and then when you saw it, it had been defaced and you never saw the original Mona Lisa. Like, it's this kind of, oh my God, like I am missing out on something major. And literally moments, almost minutes go by as the two of you just stare at this painting. And Arkham, you regain your senses first, and when you look over, you can see that Lilah's mouth is kind of hanging open and staring at this, and she's kind of struggling and just kind of managing to tear herself away from this thing. For the rest of the scene, you find it extremely difficult to do anything other than look at it and absorb it. You're distracted. Enthralling, isn't it? Yeah, both of you. But it's not enough to give you penalties because you made your willpower rolls. Enthralling, isn't it? Isn't it just one of the most mysterious things you've ever seen?
Mysterious is a good word for it. A piece like this, I can tell it has history. What can you tell us?
Whoever the woman is in this painting was a real woman. I call her the witch. She's a great mystery, the greatest mystery I've ever come across. She appears here and there in some writing, a little bit of art, mostly by magicians or people into the esoteric and the occult. But very rarely. But through the years, she seems to have been the subject of obsession from people who have encountered her, who were into the mystic arts and things of that nature. I myself am obsessed with her. The other painting that I seek shows her face, and I must have it. I must know what she looks like, or I will never know a moment of peace. Like you, I am mouth, how do you say, open, my mouth hanging open when I look at this. It haunts me in my dreams. I see her, she comes to me, she talks to me, but her face is always missing. I've never felt this much obsession. This is why I have the collection that I have. I began simply by looking for another picture of her after I bought this one and became obsessed with it, and down the line it bought me hundreds of millions of dollars later to where I am now, with all the most beautiful art in the world, everything that has but a hint of the occult or the erotic or anything strange. I have everything but her face.
And this other painting, the one that you're on the trail of.
The apocryphal story says that Holiday painted this woman from memory once, but he became afraid of what would happen to him, and so he tried to hide it, and he hid it under this other painting that he was working on. He wanted it to be out there, to still exist, but not to be known. But he chickened out at the end, and he couldn't sell, and he repainted the Dante painting, the one that we know. But the first one, the hidden one, the missing one, is painted over this first painting he did of this woman, of the witch.
And do you know who has that painting? Do you know how to get access to it?
There's
or is
someone,
that what you're hoping we can help you with?
There's someone in this city, I am told, has a missing painting by Henry Holiday. The details are vague of what it is, but there are not that many missing paintings by Henry Holiday. I am hoping that this is one of them. There is someone named Vico here in Montreal. He is the one who is auctioning off the painting. If I have this painting, the rest of my collection matters not to me. If you get me this painting, and it is the one that I want, I will give you the rest of my collection. Everything I have that is not related to the witch you can have. For free.
In exchange for the witch's face.
In exchange for her face. It is tantamount to being on the verge of seeing the face of God. For me. I am obsessed beyond reason.
And you say this Vico is auctioning it?
He is auctioning the painting of Henry Holiday he has. Whether it is the right one or not, I do not know.
I see.
But I know that you covet it also.
Mm.
And I know that you're the only one who has the means to get it, other than myself. I am not one to use dark means to accomplish things that I want to accomplish, so I would make this deal to you. You get it for me, or you let me have it. And you can have the rest of my collection. I will even show you the painting.
Interesting. Why would you not simply exhibit what you have and hope that it draws out the person who has what you're looking for?
What do you think I've been doing for the past 7 years? I go around the world, exhibiting all my work, tapping all my resources, contacting everyone I know, looking for the woman, the witch.
But you believe the person who has it is here, yes?
Yes.
And we're giving you an opportunity to exhibit. The perfect place to pull in someone who's looking for art and the occult and the sensual.
Miss Lilah, I have already told you that I would give you all of my collection if I had but that one painting. Do you think that someone who possesses that painting would be interested in anything else? Do you think that someone who possesses the face of the witch would have any interest in anybody else's collection?
I think it depends on how they feel about their collections. Whether they still like it when they have it, or whether they yearn for what they don't have.
He looks at you very pointedly and says, "Not everything becomes obsolete."
We'll see.
I will let you think on it. Monsieur Arkham, you're not saying much. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Do you not wish
I'm just
a glass of champagne?
No, it's nothing to celebrate yet. I appreciate the time that you've given us, and we will take your offer into consideration. I'm sure Miss Lilah will contact you with any resolution, but I do think, and he looks over at Lilah, some deliberation is needed. It's this piece itself is magnificent. One can only dream of what the other is.
That is what keeps me up at night, Monsieur Arkham. And now it will keep you up at night also. This painting is a curse. Miss Lilah, I hope you won't hold a grudge.
We'll see.
Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate both of you.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure.
Yes. Absolute pleasure.
You can go ahead, both of you, and you can give me a wits plus your choice of politics or streetwise.
Come on, Demi-Plane, do the thing.
Same. Two successes.
I think that's a messy critical. I got 3 successes, and one of them was on the hunger.
Well, do you wish, my friend, to spend a night move to negate the messy critical and make it just a success?
No, because the thing that keeps Arkham up at night is staring right in front of him. And it's not the painting.
So, both of you know who Vico is. He's a La Sombra who lives in the underworld city. He lives in Ville Marie. Arkham, every step you take as you're ruminating on this, you're thinking about this. You know Vico, he's a La Sombra, you know he's a Nard dealer. You're trying to think, is there a way I can reach him? Is there a way I can blah, blah, blah. And as you're thinking about that, you keep looking over your shoulder at that painting all the time. As you're walking towards the elevator, you keep looking into your shoulder, over your shoulder, over your shoulder. And at some point, as you're looking over your shoulder, you bump into the security guard. Your foot gives way under you, and you go sprawling on your stomach, right at Lilah's feet, right in front of Narcisse. You're lying on the floor, on your stomach. And the guard's like, sorry, sir.
Arkham stands himself up, and he dusts himself off, and he is glaring daggers into Narcisse.
And you see his guard's got a bit of a grin in the corner of his mouth.
Is the guard behind me?
He's wherever you want him to be. You could turn around or whatever you want to do.
I was thinking that Narcisse was behind us because we were leaving them, and then I bumped into the
so
guard.
you fell, and Narcisse is there, and you get up, and you can get up facing whichever direction you want.
I look at Narcisse, and I go, apologies. And then I turn around to the guard, and I see his face. And I'm going to use lethal body, and I'm going to deck the shit out of this guard for smiling at me.
Go ahead and give me, just for shits and giggles, go ahead and give me strength and brawl.
Absolutely.
And it was a messy critical, so how badly do you want to not kill this guy?
We're gonna go Jared Leto in Fight Club bad.
Okay, so give me a rouse check as you're gonna use Blood Surge. Your beast demands satisfaction. Because this is a messy critical, you're gonna give me a rouse check.
That's a failure.
That's a failure. So your hunger goes up. You get to add your blood potency to your dice roll of strength and brawl.
Cool. And if I use a night move, what, that adds 2 more dice?
Yeah.
Let's have fun. Oh shit. So that's 7 successes, and I think I got another messy critical.
Did you roll a 10 on a hunger die?
I did.
Do you wish to spend a night move to negate that one?
Fuck this guard. I want that painting. This dude is laughing at me. See, that's the thing. With Arkham didn't answer his question because what keeps him up at night is power and strength. And in this moment, it was taken from him again.
Lilah,
so we'll show you.
You watch as, with this unbridled fury in his eyes, Arkham Olivier spins and punches the guard so hard that his lower jaw rips out, and as the blood spills out everywhere, there's like this moment where everything kind of pauses, and then you hear this deep bestial growl come from the depths of Arkham. And with fangs bared, the blood of the guard hot on his face. As the guard is falling down, you watch, helpless, as Arkham jumps on the guard, sinks his mouth right into the guard's neck, and begins to drain him with these wet, bestial sounds as he's just gorging himself on this blood. And as you look up, the window behind the guard shows the the skyline of Montreal at night, and this dark splotch of red blood that is just dripping down the window. And across town,
yeah, green wild.
Across town, we're almost at our time here, so I'm gonna have to make this move a little bit. I do want to get to this. You have arrived at the Fatal Lofts. They are in this industrial part of town. They look like an old Victorian industrial building. You can see a large courtyard where a lot of street art has been done, a lot of murals and things of that nature. You hear music coming from inside. As you walk inside the building, you are greeted by this place, this swell of humanity, all these people that live here, punks, squeegees, street people, artists, students, all living in these very tiny little spaces that have been converted inside the lofts, and the entire lofts are like these big communal spaces. You hear from downstairs, from Death House, the underground punk club, you hear the rumbling of the bass, you hear the screeching of the singers, the music, the wailing guitars. People kind of eye you a little bit weirdly because you're a priest, but they don't seem really put out. And as you're moving through, they offer you hits, they offer you drinks, they offer you something to eat, but you make your way through this throng and find your way up and climb up into the upper reaches of this loft. As you approach a door at the top of the stairs, the door opens. You see a woman standing there. She has a shaved head, is wearing a white tank top that's ripped. She's got these leather pants, combat boots, tattoos cover her everywhere. And she looks at you. And Elise, the second you see her, you feel something powerful emanating from her. You feel a resonance in her blood that is calling out to you. Behind her, in a apartment that is painted black and purple, got old furniture and instruments that are vying for space. The walls are covered, you can see, with street art, except for one, which is covered entirely in a tight hand script. And there are satanic and various occult knickknacks hanging off of it. As you move into the loft, this woman letting you in, you realize that this entire wall of script is written in Aramaic and is written in dried blood. The place smells of incense, old beer, cigarette, smoke. There's this undercurrent of sweat, of sex. This is a place of dirty earthly pleasures. In the chair, standing up, is the brother, the twin brother, Seb. Long dark hair, wearing a dark leather coat. He stands up. They both look at you. Elise, the resonance of their blood is so powerful, you start feeling dizzy. The room around you starts to spin. Their blood calls to you so strongly. You feel it literally, physically vibrate through you. Father, you don't feel any of this. You just see Elise, who's now like kind of swaying in place. Her fangs are starting to come out, but she doesn't look like she's losing control. And as she stands there, swaying, what do you do? Both of you.
She's lost in the current.
Well, this isn't very productive.
You don't feel that, Father.
What am I supposed to be feeling in this house
She,
of sin?
puts her hand on his face and pushes him away and starts to stumble forward to the brother sitting at the desk.
The two of them now are standing up and just watching you as you move in. Father, you get a sense that they were expecting her somehow.
He's observing as if he's waiting for the perfect moment.
Elise, you approach them. The two of them sink to their knees in front of you, looking up at you.
She outstretches her hands and puts them on their foreheads.
They close their eyes as you reach out and touch them. They're also swaying now. This close to them, it's literally like you're standing right next to a speaker. It's not just the noise and the sound now, it's the very physical vibration of it. It's like the world around you is shaking and vibrating, and it's just this blur, and it's just you and these two, and as you touch them, that resonance in their blood calls to you. There is so much power in that blood, so much energy, and it's just completely 100% in tune with you.
I think she slowly sinks down between the two of them, her hand kind of coming from their forehead and down to cup their faces. What is this that I feel? She's lifting their chins now to look at her.
They look up at you like they've been waiting for you to come. They are enthralled, in awe. Their mouths are open. That resonance in the blood just keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And again, it's not driving you to want to eat them necessarily. It's just really like reaching out and shaking you, and it's just, you feel your skin crawl, almost like there are things on you. It's just this unsettling feeling of everything about you changing and moving.
I think she's completely entranced by this, and with their mouths open, looking at her like this, I think she takes the first one she saw. Her hands have now slipped down onto their throats, and she's gonna clap her mouth over one of them and begin kissing them deeply.
And both of them will lean into it. As you're kissing one, the other one's mouth will alight on your neck. You'll feel a power that is almost as strong as what you feel with Fletcher, just a little bit beneath it. And Father, as you stand there and watch this communion of the three of them in the center of the room, you look up. And through the window of the loft, looking up towards the mountain, you see the lit cross on Mount Royal. And from the corner of the room, you hear, "Things are about to get interesting. You ready for it, Padre?"
Oh, yes. Very ready.
I think you should close the door.
I think he closes the door and his hand searches into the small of the back for the double-edged blade that he keeps.
And on that note, my friends, we will end tonight's session of Black Pentecost. With Elise just going to town with the twins.
Mother, no!
And Arkham, man.
Hey, bud, what you doing?
He's having a sneaky snack. He's just having a little snack.
Did you say a sneaky snack? Because it was not sneaky. It was the least sneaky thing you've ever done.
Hey man, ain't nobody told that guard to stand right there. You saw me walking. Deserves it, asshole.
Sometimes you gotta fucking punch someone's face off.
And then eat
Sometimes you gotta just suck someone's face off. Look, we're just riding this wave.
It's about balances, right? The vibe.